What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and with all this information that is coming out about Bryan Kohberger, it's getting hard to figure out what to believe. There's all of these conflicting reports from people that used to know him. Some people said he was weird and awkward. Some people say he's a nice guy, but I think that's just the average human experience. You have different effects on people and people have different effects on you. So often you leave different impressions on people than you do others. So yeah, it's perfectly normal that Bryan may have been a creep to some people while also being nice to others. Now, it was reported the other day that Bryan had some really bizarre activities in jail and that he exposed himself to some woman and was going off the rails. I never reported on that because I was waiting on more information to come through. And then almost I think it was like 2 or 3 hours later, conflicting reports came through and saying that that was not true. Now, personally, I do not believe that Bryan is behind bars acting Lulu and going crazy. I think Bryan is acting how we saw him act in court. We've seen people act crazy before. Think of Darrell Brooks in that case and when he represented himself. When it comes to Bryan Kohberger, I think he's most likely being silent. He's probably being cordial to the people who speak to him. But it is now being revealed. Take this with a grain of salt. This is what is being reported. I'm obviously not in jail with Kohberger, so I don't know what's happening in there. But it's being reported that he is now being threatened. People are threatening to unalive him in jail already, and he hasn't even made it to the big house yet. Now, are these reports true? Like I said, all we can do is take their word for it. But one thing that I've learned is that the mainstream media could be just as bad as some of these crazy YouTubers when it comes to true crime cases. I'm going to tell you all right now, I haven't watched the mainstream media in years. I haven't turned on a news station in years. No, I do not watch fake news CNN. And no, I don't tune into Fox News. I don't watch the mainstream media. I get my news from official non-biased sources. I like independent media. There are YouTubers, independent journalists, people on social media all over the place that do a better job than the mainstream media. But over the past couple of days, I've actually watched some of the mainstream media coverage of Bryan Kohberger in the Idaho 4 case, and my mind was blown. Here I am on YouTube going at it with certain YouTubers who are spreading crazy rumors and all types of stuff and attacking random people. Little did I know the mainstream media was doing the same thing the whole time. This is the type of stuff people are watching. We got FBI agents on live television accusing Kaylee's father of being the killer. It's absolutely insane to me. But you can't say anything about it because then people come at your throat. And right now, a lot of people are upset at me about a certain opinion that I have about this case. And we may get into that in a future video. I don't want to really go into that right now. But if this is the case, if this is true, then they better watch Bryan closely. Now, from my understanding, Bryan is being held in a little jail. I don't think there's really anything for Bryan to really worry about yet, but Bryan's going to have a rough future ahead of him. People like Bryan, they're often confident that they can get away with these crimes. They plan for everything, but for when they get locked up. Bryan, you know damn good and well that you are not built for the prison system. They are going to go ham on Bryan. Bryan will be turned into someone's girlfriend within the first couple of days of him being there. They will turn Bryan's life upside down. So whatever little threats you may see now, that's nothing compared to what Bryan's going to have to go through if he's found guilty. And while Bryan was going to school to study this and study that, I bet you he wasn't studying how prison life is. That's what he should have been worried about. Who cares about this degree or that degree? You should have been studying what life was like behind bars, because then maybe you wouldn't have made these decisions. But then again, hey, who am I to say anything? It looks to me like the jailhouse is already showing some sort of favoritism towards Bryan, making sure they got his vegan diet meals ready. Let's get this guy an Impossible Whopper. Let's make sure he's got broccoli for dinner instead of the Sunday surprise. You know what I mean? But that's normal. I've seen a lot of people talking about that. They have various different diets in jail. If you're diabetic, vegan, what have you, if you're Muslim and you don't eat pork, they got all types of stuff like that. So that's actually kind of normal, I guess, these days. When you think of prison, you don't think of them accommodating your eating habits. But hey, so if I go to prison, do I get double trays? You know what I mean? If Bryan can go to jail and get vegan trays, then I should get Chick-fil-A if I get locked up for anything. It's only right. I worship the Lord's chicken, Chick-fil-A. I think I should get a 12-piece nugget and fries during all of my prison meals. But all jokes aside, I hope they watch Bryan closely to make sure nothing happens to him. Because right now he's precious cargo until he's found guilty. And boy, oh boy, do I think they are going to find Bryan guilty. I'm telling you all right now. All of that evidence and information we got from that affidavit, Alpha David, it's nothing compared to what investigators most likely have. They don't have to reveal all of their information. They don't have to show their whole hand of cards yet. They only got to show enough to prove that they have a reason to arrest Bryan. And knowing the type of person Bryan is, I can guarantee you they are being really careful and particular with this case. And they're withholding certain pieces of information so Bryan isn't able to dwell on and mount up an excuse for the various things they're going to throw at him. Now, as far as the sheath goes, oh man, there are so many possibilities here about how the defense is going to go about defending Bryan. Will they place the blame on someone else? Will they say that the knife is stolen? I don't know, but I think that we're in for one of the most interesting cases in years when if this does, go to trial. This is going to be absolutely insane. And Bryan actually has a good defense for free. And I cannot stress that enough. For free, Bryan has some of the best legal defense that anyone could possibly ever wish for. So this isn't going to be just, over. You know what I mean? This isn't going to be a cut and dry case. This is going to be, I'm thinking we're gearing up for one of the craziest cases that we've probably seen since OJ or something. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know your thoughts though down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I will talk to you all in the next video.